Welcome everybody to the April 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Downtown Development Authority. Ms. Thompson, would you please conduct roll call?
Alex Deek, Micah Bartelme.
Here.
Milton Mahoney, Mike Micklon.
Here.
Steve Brummer.
Here.
Bressa Nichols. Here. Angela Jackson. Tyler Kinley.
Here.
Danielle Vaughn. Here. And Kim Mays. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. I want to extend a special warm welcome to our newest board member, Kim Mays.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mike. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The motion passes. Agenda is approved. Do I have anyone signed up for public comment at this time? You will have 3 minutes. Anyone? No one signed up for the front end? You will have an opportunity on the back end. Do we have a report from any city boards and commissions today? No CAC. Ms. Thompson, would you give us the executive director report?
Certainly. Today I just wanted to draw your attention to 2 items that are in your staff communications in your board packet. Both are related to the parking system. The first item is we will be making an operational change to the parking system beginning June 2nd. On Sunday, when, as you all know, parking is free, right now gate arms are up at structures and parking lots. Effective June 2nd, those gate arms will be down. Parking will remain free, but patrons will have to pull a ticket and then put in their ticket to exit. And this is going to allow us to have tighter revenue control. It is also going to allow us to track utilization on Sundays. And it's basically industry best practice. It's something we've talked about for a long time. We haven't had until now the consistent equipment throughout the system to be able to implement this change. So this is a real positive step for us.
Good question. Does that be flat lot and structures?
It will be lots and structures, yes. So the incline lot?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And we have Y lot too still, or no?
The Housing Commission
that's right.
owns that lot. We do run it, but that is not a gated lot, that's a
Right.
metered lot.
Okay.
So any lot with a gate arm. And then the second item I wanted to bring to your attention is related to our rooftop fencing project, which I believe we talked about at our last meeting. Our engineers have found an additional fencing option which uses the same materials and measurements that we were already planning on. However, they found an option that has a curved element at the top that can be used in some locations. So this option is going to be specified in the locations where we can accommodate it, and it will be included as part of our bid package. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have any DDA member communications? Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Open for discussion. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll take that to a vote. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Motion passes. Agenda is approved. Special business and reports. We have Lillian Webb here. She's the director of the Get Downtown program, and she's going to present the annual funding request for the Go Pass and Get Downtown program. As required in the DDA bylaws, this grant request was reviewed by the executive committee. Ms. Webb.
Hello, everyone. I'm actually going to be splitting this presentation with Dina Reed, who is the Deputy CEO of Finance for the Ride. I'd love to at first kind of give you an overview of what the Get Downtown program is, since there are some new board members since we were last here, what we've been working on since last spring when we presented for the last grant request, and then kind of I'll turn it over to Dina to talk through where we're at on the grant looking ahead. So importantly, the Get Downtown program, its goal is to provide commuting programs and services for downtown employers and employees. This program has existed since 1999 with the RIDE and the DDA as founding partners, as well as the City of Ann Arbor. That partnership continues through today. Our programs and services are mostly offered for free. They include the Commuter Challenge and Conquer the Cold, free commuting assistance, materials about commuting and ride sharing, and the Go Pass program, which is one of the more popular things we're known for. All three partners support efforts to inform the downtown community about non-car transportation options. And logistically, the Get Downtown program is a subsidiary of the RIDE. Employees like myself are employees of the RIDE. So again, those free services are the commute consulting. If you want to participate in the challenge, we're happy to have you. The more the merrier when it comes to influencing social norms about getting out of driving alone. As mentioned, the Go Pass is kind of the big, well-known program. In some ways, it is limited to the DDA's geographic boundary. We aren't able to provide that to others outside the area because it is linked to grant funding from you guys. But there's a lot of really lovely benefits that come with that pass, including unlimited rides on the RIDE's fixed route buses and discounts on the late night and holiday service and the Flex Ride East and West shuttles, and a couple of other things. So speaking kind of what we've been up to, since last spring, we were right about to launch the Downtown Commuter and Employer Survey. We launched this survey before. We've done it in 2018 was the last time we did it, and we did it again in 2013. So it was about time, and obviously a lot had changed from 2018 to 2023 in terms of commuting habits and how people felt about getting to work. So that really helped us confirm some of the gut instincts we had about how often people were coming to work, what the impact of more expanded, flexible schedules had on people. So that survey has allowed us to kind of rebuild in a way that's also focusing on how people are coming back. After a break in 2022, we were able to run 3 commuting challenges, inviting community members to, if they haven't already, start walking, biking, carpooling, or using the bus to get to work or sometimes get to wherever. This picture is from the winner of our week-long new challenge that we did last year in partnership with the Ann Arbor Office of Sustainability, called the World Car Free Challenge, and celebration of Global World Car Free Day. We asked folks for about 7 or 8 days to go car free or car light being carpooling, and this person won. He was commuting on the D2A2 from Detroit to Ann Arbor and walking. He worked actually in downtown Ann Arbor. I got to meet him when we took this picture and hear a little bit about his story. We also have are supplying employers with Go Passes. We've got 237 currently participating. We had about 250 total in the last time. We've also upped our communication to the employers so that they're able to get the information out to employees. We have a video about our 2023 activities, but we're not going to watch that. It's on our website if anyone's curious about the exact numbers from all the challenges and some of the survey results. Looking ahead, we're going to continue to build on our Go Pass numbers. We want to invite more people to that program and really have folks utilize that option to use the bus, use our park and ride lots. We also are about to launch the Commuter Challenge, Bike to Wherever Day. We will spread the word about the DDA's own Bike-a-Palooza in our communication. And similarly, the RIDE has many exciting service expansions on the way that Dina will talk more about, but we will make sure the downtown community knows about the opportunities to continue using the bus and biking instead of driving alone. And then big picture looking forward, we are really excited about the longevity of this program. It's made a big difference in the community and being able to kind of relieve some of the pressure on the parking system and have some flexibility. We do also hope to improve on the platforms that we currently run our challenges. If anybody has experienced those, there is room for improvement, and we're in a good position to see if those can happen in the next year. We also really want to highlight the actual employers who have some best practices that others can learn from around offering good transportation options other than parking. And as mentioned, as services continue to evolve and emerge, we'll continue to communicate those out with the community so that they can take advantage of them. With that being said, I will pass it along to Tina.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lillian. So I just want to talk a little bit to kind of set the tone of where we're headed with the budget, to talk about what we think is going on and things that we view as opportunities for the program. So we have expanded services beginning in 2024 for the ride. You may have heard about this a while back. We had millage back in 2022. And a significant portion of that millage was to fund expansion of services. It's increased frequencies, it's expanded areas of service. And I won't get into details on that, but it is on limited stop express route in Ypsilanti. It's longer hours of service on weekdays and weekends. We view those all as opportunities for this program as well, and because we also have the flex ride component of the Get Downtown program, and we're hoping that encourages people to use more of the service. So those are great opportunities. The other thing we know that's been going on is changes in parking rates in the city of Ann Arbor, and we view that as a potential opportunity too. There's constraints on parking, but what we're hoping is that some of the people that maybe don't want to pay or don't want to incur those fees will take other options, such as the transit options that we have. And with the expanded services happening around the same time, we view that as an opportunity. So we're hoping to really use those opportunities to grow. So moving forward, just a little bit of information about where we're at today or how we see things today. We're still continuing to grow, not as significantly as the spike we saw last year. So the spike from 2022 to 2023, as we talked about, for those of you who were here last year, we discussed, it was a big spike post-COVID is what we think is really causing that. We did talk about other projections, and we expected that this year we would grow, but we weren't sure at what rate. Didn't really expect to grow at the same rate from 22 to 23, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So what you're seeing here on the far right in FY 2024 are the first two quarters compared to the first two quarters of prior years, and you can see that we're continuing to grow, but just not at the rate that we did before. So here's where we've been over the past 3 years. The blue, the blue line at the top is a full year projection or actual. So for fiscal 22 and 23, you can see that growth projection. And then for 24, the 305 at the top, that's our annual projection. We're only halfway through the year, so that's a projection. For the actual numbers at mid-year is the gray line beneath it. So the 70,000 is at mid-year in 22, 131 at mid-year in 23, and we've seen a little bit of growth to 140, which is why we're projecting to grow to 305 for this year. One thing I wanted to mention before we move on is last year we showed a similar slide. And that slide showed the potential for projection. So with the big increase from 22 to 23, we weren't really sure where that projection should go. And I think it was sort of like this. We had a low, a high, and a mid. And truthfully, we're coming in kind of on the low side of the potential projections, which really isn't surprising. Things tend to go up and then kind of flatten out. And what we're hoping is to see, additional increases and we have some recommendations about that, which we'll come to. Flex ride has been a little soft. You can see we're coming in a little bit lower. Again, we're really hoping that the opportunities with expansion of flex ride this year will improve that, but we'll have to wait and see.
Quick question. Can you
Yes.
explain Flex Ride for other people at the table?
Flex ride is our on-demand service. So, that's pretty much what it is. We're expanding the area and the availability
Are
of.
those a small bus or is that like the
Minivan?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a van
minivan.
transportation.
Yeah, like a like a small commuter vehicle is what
Okay.
you picture for that. So we run those as an on-demand service, and you can call and ask for, a ride, and we would plan it out and come pick you up, at a specific location. So it's an area, it's to supplement the mainline transportation service to areas where it doesn't make sense to take a 40-foot bus out there, but we know there's enough demand to have an opportunity for service, and so that's what we use FlexRide for. And what we've seen is growing demand in that area, so we're expanding the service area a little bit based on what we think the demand is, and then we're also expanding the budget a little bit to account for opportunities where we've had to tell people we can't, we don't have any more service available that day.
You're seeing increased demand?
No decrease, you see, FY24.
We're seeing
Yeah.
we're seeing a decrease for the flex fares paid by DDA, so that's
Okay.
a little bit different than our FlexRide program as a whole.
Okay, so the program as a
Yeah,
whole
so
is
what we
seeing
want to
increase
do
for the
is
DDAs.
market the DDA program as part of the overall FlexRide program to take advantage of this opportunity through the DDA.
Makes sense.
And those Go Pass riders on the Flex Ride, is that fare completely paid for by the Go Pass, or is it split?
On FlexRide East and West in the townships, it's fully covered. And those can connect you to the fixed route. For the overnight service, it's only partially, you get a discount on it.
Discount.
So the late night and the holidays when the rides buses aren't running,
Yep.
that's when some restaurant workers or folks who are getting off work a little bit later will use FlexRide instead of buses that aren't running.
Is that the most common population that you see utilizing it?
That's the group that I've communicated with most about the need for this service, and I'm very excited since I started about hearing that the millage was passed to expand the late night and overnight service.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So with that, what we're proposing is that our fiscal year 2025 budget be the same as the current year. If we looked at actuals for this year, we're trending under budget. We were also trending under budget last year. I think what we had said at that time was depending on how things go, if we were hitting the high level of that initial projection, we'd be coming right up against the budget, but we're not. So we're coming more like a little bit of growth, but flat. So what we're proposing is for fiscal 25 to use a little bit more of the fair, what was the fair funding, to move that into promotion and marketing so we can market these opportunities and let people know that these opportunities exist. Hopefully connect them. Lillian has a lot of ideas, and this was her idea to say, look, we're going to be spending all of that promotion and marketing budget this year where we haven't in years past because we see this opportunity. And we think that if we could just do a little bit more, it might bring that in. Eventually, what we hope is that, I think we put more money into the fairs and to the fair side of things, but right now we're not hitting that mark. So our recommendation is to keep the total budget the same, but spend a little bit more in running for outreach, education, letting people know these programs exist and trying to get them involved in the program.
What have you seen be the most successful forms of education and outreach? Like the things that you're like, that really hit home and I could tell that people got it and started utilizing it.
Can I piggyback off that and just ask, what do you see are the barriers also?
Yeah, I think the survey was really helpful. One, it's been a rebuilding process since
Yeah, for
the
sure.
past couple of years. I think we're now in a spot where we actually know who we're communicating with. I was new the last year, a lot of them were new, so having those relationships where you pick up the phone and you actually know who to call, and so we're starting to get feedback from our employer. Each co-pass has a coordinator who's our point of contact, and we're starting to get feedback where people are actually calling up and saying, hey, do you have this thing? And it's that's a great idea, we will create that thing. And so we create it and then we share it with all the other GoPass coordinators. So I'm sorry, I've lost a little bit of your question there, or your couple of questions.
I was just wondering, what have you seen be the education or outreach initiatives that seem to be the most effective or drive the most usage after?
Got it. So the main thing I think I was getting at from the surveys, we learned that people mostly hear about the Get Downtown program and Go Passes through their employer. That's how
Yeah.
you get them. Unless you were at another place who offered them and now you're at a place who doesn't. So we've done, we've started doing outreach. We are sharks for news about what's opening downtown and welcoming people to downtown and getting them right as soon as they're starting to think about staffing up. We know that this employer exemplar, we know that there's people who advertise that they have Go Passes as part of their hiring. And so we love to kind of elevate that to other people as well as, you know, this is something that your employees care about. It may not seem so big in the grand scheme of things, but it does matter to employees. So really the employers are our points of contact, one, because we already have their contact information, but also because that is where people who we're trying to communicate with about their transportation options, they really are already hearing from them on a daily, weekly basis, those managers, those HR contacts.
No, that makes total sense. I learned about it from an employee as a people person for a downtown business and then brought it everywhere I went and people started asking for it, so that totally makes sense.
Did I answer your
You
question?
did, yes, you did. Thank you.
Thanks, sorry. Andrea.
And we just want to share that the impact of the program, I'm not going to go through all the bullet points here, but there are significant benefits beyond just helping people get where they need to be and the main mission of transit, but also at this annual savings for downtown employees and the emissions reductions and things like that from being able to provide this service, the DDA program itself, and then other transportation services. So just want to share that. And then finally, just to kind of tell you what we're hearing from downtown employers and what we think, again, are opportunities, that there's a limited number of parking spaces and that they encourage people to take other forms of transportation to work, whether it be, you know, bike, car, public transit, whatever. But this program supports that, and we want to do more to support participation in that program. And then another employer said is a very small and fairly new business. There's a limited number of benefits they can provide, and so this is another benefit they see. So just more information about support of the program. And with that, kind of close out the presentation and open it up to any other questions we may not have touched on or any other things that anyone would like to mention.
Thank you for the presentation. It's really important.
Lynn did a great job. She put it together.
Absolutely, it was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
You mentioned the emissions piece. Are folks from like the A20 initiative also involved or like?
We have good communication with Office of Sustainability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I wondered.
They're a really good partner.
Yeah.
I do have one question about the night ride and the flex ride. So particularly, we talk about like downtown employees, service industry people who are getting off later at night. What's the time frame that runs in, and how easy is that to access in terms of, you know, do you have to set it up beforehand, a significant time? What's the wait like in terms of like the window of when they get picked up, you know, particularly with people who are getting off at maybe different times, cut from their shift, or so how does that? How do you manage that logistically?
Logistically, it is something that is certainly as difficult as you can imagine with multiple people making calls in those little vans and needing to go different places. So that is on kind of a ride list of service improvements for 2024. We are, right now it is, there's an app that you can call 24 hours in advance to reserve. You can get a confirmation of like, yep, we're planning to pick you up. Sometimes they do have to turn people away because if everybody's getting off for work at the exact same time, and there's a limited number of vehicles, that presented a challenge. So recognizing that the ride has planned for improvements, so we are anticipating that over the summer there will be a change in process that will allow that service to just operate better. And just this past, you may have seen it in the DDA's newsletter, we were reaching out to the downtown community to see who confirmed kind of what I had heard, that who was being impacted by that service or wanted to use that service. We did find that not everybody knew that you had a discount for showing your Go Pass, so that was an opportunity where we got to, while getting feedback, tell people about something that was already available to them, but also knew about the late night people. We learned about some of the early morning people who needed to be dropped off before the ride service came, fixed route service came. So without spoiling too much, I'll make sure that the communication of the full actual logistics of how the service is being improved come out, but those difficulties are already in the works of being improved, and we already kind of have a list of people who have opted in to tell us through that short survey of, yes, I need more information about this when I will try it when it comes, the service improvements happen, or my employees did try to use this, here are some of the issues we've had with it.
And I'm sure there's myriad difficulties on your side of delivering the service, but I think that, you know, there's a big barrier in usability from the user side, and you know, convenience and timing. So I'm a downtown employer. We have a lot of people at night who just need rides, and you know, I think it's difficult kind of service to use, and a lot of people don't know about it. So I'd love to see that increase those numbers, but I think that's one of the biggest barriers right now is it's clunky, you know, on the user end.
Kind of flying under the radar with that one until the service improvement happens, and then we will be shouting it from the rooftop.
Fair enough. Well, we'll look forward to hearing
Yeah,
about
other
it.
than logistics, I think the expansion of service or the expansion of opportunity for service is part of the issue, right? If we can't take, and we don't, it's still not modeled out that we would be able to provide that service for everyone. Like we're doing the best we can, but in terms of total funding for the, you know, agency, the focus is, you know, public transportation at a broader scale, but this is a supplemental. But to your point, we've heard that feedback, and we're working to improve it.
Great. Well, thank you again.
Yeah,
thank you.
Okay, on to new business. We have 3 resolutions to consider. First, we have the resolution to provide a grant to fund the Go Pass and the Get Downtown program for fiscal year 25. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Tyler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the presentation or the resolution to fund? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Resolution passes.
Kelly, can we get a zoom on this?
Bigger?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some people
Thank you,
forgot their
Kelly.
glasses. Thank you.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll wait. Everybody wait, please. Yeah.
All right, next we do have a resolution to approve parking rates. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mike. Do I have a second?
Support.
Thank you, Steve. Discussion, open up. So this is the proposed 3-year rate schedule that allows the DDA to meet its responsibilities, including a financially sound system that provides for operational, maintenance, capital, and fund balance requirements. We've been working on this for almost a year, it feels like, informed by multiple studies, a lot of discussion. Sarah's, of course, available if we have any questions about finances or we need to look at any charts. Questions, comments, concerns?
I'd just like to say that a lot of discussion was put in this, and if I remember correctly, we even made a compromise to what the plan was going to be. We heard a lot from, we considered a lot of public input, and I feel really good about this decision.
Thanks, Steve. I agree. No one likes to see price increases, but at the same time, we have a responsibility to maintain the system, fund balance, be able to provide maintenance. So I think this is a good place to land. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion to get to this point, so I feel good voting here.
Great. Well, without further ado, all in favor of the proposed parking rate increases, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Resolution passes. Thank you. And the final resolution today is to approve a cost share agreement with the City of Ann Arbor for the Throne semi-portable bathroom units. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. The City of Ann Arbor approved a contract with Throne Labs in October of 2023 for 10 Throne units, including 2 units to be located in the DDA district to address the need for additional public restrooms downtown. This is a 1-year pilot program beginning in June. This is another one we've had significant discussion and information on. I hope everyone's comfortable with the information. If not, we have more available to you. Any discussion?
No.
Great. Do we know when these are going to be placed?
Throne has indicated that sometime in June. The contract says June 30th. However, Throne is thinking that they're going to be here earlier. So we do have language in the contract with Throne and in our resolution to be able to install as soon as they're available.
Great. And just a refresher of everyone's memory, one is going to be the corner of Main and Washington there by the former Chase Bank, and then we've got a split site, half and half, over on 4th between Miller and Ann and further down 4th.
Yeah, so it's between, yep, you're
Show
right,
off.
between Miller and Ann on this, right, North 4th and then at Maynard. Very good.
Fantastic.
Remind me of the signage. I know once or twice that was brought up of like, if I'm on Liberty Street, I don't always know where the public restroom is unless I just wander aimlessly around downtown. Just remind me how we were gonna point people.
Yeah, so we had those discussions very early on
Yeah.
in the conversations we had with the city when we were looking for a provider and before we had decided on Throne. So we will be working with the city on some type of communications plan on being able to provide some type of wayfinding to public bathrooms, but we don't have a plan in place yet.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know because I know we have the maps every
Right.
toilet.
And there are some other public restrooms that are available
Yeah.
on a limited basis, right?
Totally.
And so, so there needs to be some thought put into how are we gonna,
And I know these
Provide
are
that information.
a pilot, so it makes sense that we're not investing heavily in
Yeah.
permanent signage.
Great. Well, without further ado, let's take this to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The resolution passes. Wow, nice work, guys.
Excited to try them out.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Self-cleaning.
Yeah.
Do we have any unfinished business? I believe not. We do have some communications in your packet to peruse at your leisure. Reman engagement is of note. We're bringing them back in to help us with our 360 review and annuals, as well as formalized priorities for the executive director position to measure against. So excited about that. We've got some staff reports and public correspondence. I urge you to peruse those as you can. Now we come to public comment. Do we have anyone who wishes to comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Theresa. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.